Hi, I'm Charles Max Wood from DevChat.tv. I host several shows on programming, including Ruby Rogues, JavaScript Jabber, iPhreaks, and The Freelancer Show. I've been programming in Ruby on Rails for about 7 years. I've seen it change a lot over the last few years, and I want to share my experience with you. I want to help you learn how to build web applications in Ruby on Rails, and that's why I've put together Rails Ramp Up.
All right, so let me talk for a minute about why you would want to learn Ruby on Rails. There are several reasons that I like it. The first reason is that it's in Ruby. Ruby is a very dynamic language. It gives you a lot of features that make it very easy to express yourself in code. And what that does is it makes the code easier to read and in a lot of cases easier to write. Going with Ruby on Rails means that you're going to work in Ruby, and it really is just a terrific language. Another reason is the model view controller setup. Now, model view controller is just a way of arranging code. It's a pattern that's used in several frameworks and programs to give you a separation of concerns. And I'm using these industry terms. Basically what it means is it breaks up the different concerns that you have for building the application into models, views, and controllers. It sounds a little bit complicated, but trust me, it simplifies things a great deal. Another reason is database migrations. Rails gives you the option of doing modular migrations to your database. In other words, you can change the schema of your database in small chunks, and it makes managing the database a whole lot easier. Rails is also really, really easy to extend. Part of that is due to the fact that it's written in Ruby, and part of that is due to the fact that they've built it so that you can switch modules out one for another. So for example, you can switch out the ORM or the model layer, and instead of doing something that points to an SQL database, you can insert another library that allows you to access things like MongoDB. Also, fast prototyping is another reason to go with Rails. This boils down a lot to the model view controller. Because things are so modular and it helps you organize the code so well, it's really easy to get a site together quickly. And finally, it's open source. So if you ever want to know what Rails is doing, all you have to do is go to github.com/Rails and check it out. So why would you take this course? Well, let me start for a minute with some of the other alternatives. There are other courses out there. Most of those are pre-recorded. They're not live training. And they give you sort of a demo project, I guess I want to say, but it's a fixed thing. So a lot of them go with a Twitter clone or something like that. And what I found is that a lot of people want to work on their own project. They're not really interested in the Twitter clone or the blog or whatever that situation gives them. And so with this course, you get to pick your project, you get to do whatever it is you want to do, and I'll help you make progress on that. Even if it's a little bit more complicated than the course really calls for, I'm perfectly okay with helping you get down the road. Another thing is that with these pre-recorded courses, or even with the 1 or 2 day courses, you have the instructor around when the video's on or when you're at the course, but then you go home and try and build something and you don't have anyone to ask questions of. So I'm really keen on providing the weekly training and then allowing you to ask questions. And you can ask questions about things that are out of order and I'll try and answer them. But ultimately, I'm really, really excited about being able to just answer your questions as you have them. And not only in the live training, but if you need to reach me on Skype or phone or email, when I do this course, it is top priority. So I don't push you off. I'll figure out a time that works well for you, and we'll get in and we'll figure it out. And so if I have to do some pair programming online or pull down your code and have a look and give you suggestions, if you want some code reviews, I'm happy to do that. I've also been putting together a lot of bonus materials such as cheat sheets and extra videos, and those will all be available as well. And then obviously if you watch them, you can ask questions about them during the Q&A or just reach out to me and say, hey, I have a question on this particular topic. So you get the one-on-one help, you get the bonus materials, you get the live weekly training. During the training, I do a lot of code demonstration. And so what I'll do is I'll actually get in, and instead of saying, this is Active Record and this is what it does, I actually get in and say, this is an Active Record object, and here's how we're going to get the information into and out of Active Record. And so you get the live coding demonstration that you can go watch later because I provide you with digital copies of all of the weekly training. Finally, I give you an assignment every week. Go and build this part of your application. The reason that I do that is so that you can go, you make progress on your project, and at the end of the day, you have something to show for it. It also gives you the chance to kind of challenge yourself on something that you care about. And like I said, you pick the project and we'll make it work. Who am I? I'm the host of several podcasts. Probably most relevant to this is Ruby Rogues. I also do JavaScript Jabber, The Freelancer Show, and iPhreaks. These are all panel discussion shows. So we sit down and we talk about a topic for an hour, and then that's the show. We do it every week. I've been a Rails developer since 2006, and I've recorded several tutorials over at teachmetocode.com. I've also spoken at several conferences, including Aloha Ruby Conference, RailsConf, and a couple of others.
So either click sign up below or join the waitlist so that we can let you know the next time we're doing Rails Ramp Up.